Oh no, it's over. Pack it up. We had a good run. These 7 Star Wars sets are no longer retiring at the end of this year. That statement is true, but it's all part of the game. We can pivot, we can adjust, and figure out other great sets to invest in. So in this video, I'm going to talk about those 7 sets, what it means for this year's investing strategies, how I'm going to pivot, what other sets I want to pick for Star Wars. And I have 2 other topics I'm going to cover in this video. One question that I've been asked a lot recently, so I'm going to go ahead and answer that. And then I'm also going to show you a bunch of my May the 4th and recent Walmart clearance purchases. I've been talking about a lot of sets that I really like for this year, so it's time to bring some receipts, put my money where my mouth is, and show you that I've been making some great purchases. So let's have some fun and get into this one. Here are the 7 delayed sets again, and there are some heavy hitters in here. It is a big pill to swallow, but that is totally okay. We can go other directions and still find great sets to invest in. And this is the top half of my enthusiasm and mentions table for all Star Wars sets that were expected to retire at the end of this year. I've been using this table in previous videos. If you're not familiar with how I collect all this data and what the meaning is behind all this, go check those out. I think a good one would be the video where I talked about all the sets that are $50 or less. I think at the beginning of that one, I gave a pretty good description. Here's the bottom half of the same table. And if we go back to the top half, we can see that all 7 of these sets that got pushed another year are on the top half, and 6 of the 7 are in the top 10. I lined through these sets because they are dead to me at this point. No, I'm kidding, but they are going to fall off of my radar until about this time next year. And then we'll start looking at the buzz and the supply and demand metrics, start figuring out if they are good investments at the end of 2025. I still think many of these are going to be great pickups, like Ghost and Phantom 2, for example, but we just have to wait another year. I'm not buying any of them now because there's no reason for me to stick them on my shelves and hold up storage space and tie up cash for a whole year while I'm just sitting around waiting. Obviously, it would have been nice if this great set had only a 1-year, 4-month shelf life. My guess is I'm still going to be really excited about investing in this one in a year. It's from the new Ahsoka series. We know we have another season or 2 coming, and all 5 minifigures are exclusive. If we look back at previous Ghost sets, we only have one in the play scale size with minifigures, which is this one right here. It did retire in 2015, but it's increased from $90 to over $550. And keep in mind, not only are we expected to see this ship in more Ahsoka episodes, but there's rumors that it's going to show up in other Star Wars content media, which would be really cool, and that would help this set in the long run. So with all the future content and the fact that there's only one other play scale Ghost and how popular this ship is, I am not surprised at all that this one got delayed. This is the one that I picked out and said, whoa, get ready, buy with caution, and just be prepared that you might have to hold on to him for another year. Now, the second one, 75354 Coruscant Guard gunship, I am a little bit surprised is being pushed out a year. Not completely surprised. Again, another one that I had talked about. This one too was only going to have a 1 year and 4 months shelf life, and yes, that is really short for a Star Wars play scale set this size, but it's from Clone Wars, which is obviously still hugely popular, but there's no real new content around that. Only 3 of the 5 minifigures are exclusive. The color of the ship turned a lot of people off. The poor printing quality on the Commander minifigure has frustrated a lot of people. The best I can guess is because Lego is coming out next year was some radically unique, I think non-canonical Star Wars sets where like they're combining the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter, and you can mix and match elements, and they've got the dark Millennium Falcon, and I just saw an image today of a Darth Vader in a white suit that looked really cool. So Lego is going in an interesting direction next year. These radically unique play sets that are coming, I think, are going to remind me of those cannon sets with the targets and you shot at each other, and again, they weren't really that canonical. Those didn't sell that well, so I'm really curious how these unique ones are going to sell next year and the year after. But because Lego's put a lot of time and effort into that, maybe they're not designing or releasing many actual play sets that represent actual ships and actual scenes, and so Lego said, hey, we got to hold on to a couple of these, or a few of these, or I guess 7 of these in this case, until next year. Overall, I still like this one. It's from the Clone Wars, it's a gunship, and I like the fact that it is a unique color from all the other gunships. And now the TIE Bomber, instead of a 2-year shelf life, it will have a 3-year shelf life, and I am not surprised at all by this one. It's from Episode 6, Original Trilogy. Midi, $65 for 625 pieces. When you get it 20% on sale, it's a pretty good set, and I bet it's pretty popular, and I bet LEGO expects to sell a lot more of them. The only other TIE bomber that LEGO released retired back in 2005. It's been a while. This is a very popular ship. I'm glad it's going to be on the shelves longer. Obviously, from an investing seat, it's great when you get the shortest shelf life as possible, but the TIE bomber needs to be out there and available. I still think it's going to be a decent investment, but consumers have been disappointed not to be able to get one of these for a long time, and it's not quite to the same popularity level as the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter and Boba Fett's Slave One, but it's pretty darn close, and so it should be out and available a lot more. So yeah, it totally makes sense to me on this one. And a quick note, I am happy for LEGO to change up their retirement list however they want. It's their company, they're the primary sellers, we're the secondary market. It's our job to adjust accordingly. LEGO's a great company, we all love their products. I love to collect them, I love to build them, I love to see my kids play with them, and obviously I love to invest in them too. So I want to see LEGO do the best that they can do, because that just adds to all the enjoyment that I get from LEGO. I've been asked, and it's been mentioned, that it's a little bit interesting that we had all the May the 4th promos, and then immediately after that the leaks came out that key sets that all of us were targeting during that weekend are now being extended a year. And honestly, I don't know if LEGO did that on purpose or not. If they did, it's kind of funny. If they didn't, it probably wasn't exactly on purpose. I think these decisions take a little bit of time to evolve. The leak and timing might have just come out after they saw a lot of the May the 4th data, and they said, hey, that tips us over to where we want to keep these for another year. But again, their company, have at it, and it just adds to the fun for us and the challenge, and it's all a game that, I really enjoy strategizing and trying to figure out, so I'm totally cool with it. Even though LEGO publicly won't say anything positive about LEGO investors, I truly believe that LEGO appreciates, a little bit of what we do, and the fact that we get these sets, we keep them in new pristine conditions so that people can come back years later and get them, really keeps a lot of the buzz going around LEGO. If people couldn't start buying sets today and feeling like they're starting a collection they could go back in time and fill out, then they probably wouldn't want to start that collection in the first place. There's a ton of sets on my list that I want to go get original copies of someday. Of course, I'm not anywhere near that in terms of being able to afford it or having the space for it right now, but still, I love the fact that I can at least dream and fantasize about going back in time and getting some new unopened sets and being the first person to open that box up and build it. One of the two smaller battle packs is getting extended a year, and of course, if you had to pick one of them to extend, it's going to be the 501st. Those are the most popular clone troopers, but now instead of a 2-year shelf life, it's going to be a 3-year shelf life. That's getting pretty long, so I am going to worry about this one a little bit. Not a lot. Battle packs, clone troopers, the Clone Wars, all very popular because of army building. I bet because of the extra year right at the end of its shelf life, we're going to get some excellent discounts, maybe even $10 or $12. At that price, I would definitely pick some up. But if LEGO was going to extend one of these, I'm glad it was this one and not the 332nd Ahsoka's Clone Trooper Battle Pack. This is set 75359. Since this one came out in August of last year and the 501st came out in January of last year, it's this one that gets the really short shelf life, or I guess a pretty short, under a 1.5-year shelf life. So at least the one that is retiring is going to be the shorter of the two, even if they both retire at the end of this year. And the orange helmets on these Ahsoka Clone Troopers really stand out. They make them unique, and the Swamp Speeder is pretty cool actually, when most of the side builds of the battle packs are not very good. This one's been discounted from $16 from time to time. If that's the price I have to pick it up, I will definitely be getting some, but I haven't got any yet. I'm going to be waiting until close to the end of the year. Maybe we can catch it for $13 or $14. I did want to touch on the reason why I'm not overly concerned about the 501st that's being extended is because this 501st Legion Clone Troopers battle pack that came out in August of 20 that retired in 2022 is actually doing okay. $30 up to $36. These prices on Brickcent aren't perfect, but they're approximately what you get after shipping and fees and taxes. And so a lot of people got these sets at $15. They've already doubled their money. When this one got extended a year, a lot of people were wondering if that was going to be too much shelf time and kill this one as an investment. And so far it hasn't. It's doing okay. All right, now 75356, the Executor Super Star Destroyer. And this one I am really surprised is being extended a year. I was convinced this was going to retire with a 1-year, 8-month shelf life. I am concerned that this set not retiring is actually going to hurt sales for LEGO on the other 3 Midi-scale sets. And that's because more often than not, when LEGO creates a sub-theme with a finite quantity, people want to collect them all. And when some pieces become scarce, then people, just get that buzz and that fun competitive collector's emotion to go collect every piece, and you got to go hunt one down from the past, find a good deal. And so that creates a lot of buzz and a lot of emotional original collecting desire to really be clued into these sets. But now if they're all available, all the time, I know these will all eventually retire at some point, but now it just kind of becomes ho-hum and hey, everybody can go out and get a complete collection. They're all available right there in front of your face on the shelves in the store. I think these sets could potentially become a little stale on the primary market because every time you go into a Target or a Walmart, you're just going to see them there. I get that some of these are exclusive to specific stores, but still, it's just going to become run of the mill and collectors are going to lose that game on trying to figure out how to get every piece. For example, a couple of sets in the first few waves of the helmet sub-theme had 1 year, 8-month shelf life. Some of those disappeared without people even realizing. And as a result, the Stormtrooper and especially the TIE Fighter pilot helmet have gone up in 2x, 3x, I think maybe even quadrupled if you got that TIE Fighter pilot helmet on sale. And as a result, those are unicorns. A lot of people were talking about them, created a lot of buzz, and I think that drove a lot of people to come into and start collecting the helmet line. And then, of course, jockey to go figure out how to get the originals that they missed out on. But with all that said, I still think these mini-scale ships have the potential to be a pretty good investment. We just got to wait another year on this one. The Star Destroyer we're looking at right here is a Walmart exclusive, so it still should help this one out. And then the Invisible Hand is a Target exclusive. That one I am really keeping an eye on. All four of them look fantastic. I want them for my personal collection. And again, I'm going to be watching them closely for investing still, but all through next year. 75333, Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter with the first and exclusive Tanwi minifigure is getting extended another year. Originally, it was scheduled to retire at the end of 2023, and now it's going 2 more years to 2025. Heck, it might not even retire at the end of 2025. Obviously, when it was originally expected to have just 1.5 years shelf life, there was tons of buzz around it. That has all died off. Adding another year, it's really going to die off. It might die off so much that by the time it does retire, everybody's forgot about it, and it will be a decent set to invest in. I'm going to have to look at the supply and demand data really closely to figure out if this is one that I'm going to want to touch. And talking about supply and demand, I want to give a quick plug. As you know, DG Bricks and I have teamed up and have created those long form YouTube podcast episodes that we put over on his channel. And recently the two of us teamed up with Shane from BrickBucks, and I want to plug Shane's Ignite program that is really awesome. DG and I both recently started using it and it has been extremely beneficial to us. He and I talked about it with Shane on our most recent episode that just came out yesterday or the day before, so definitely go check that out. I've got a referral link to Shane's Ignite program in the description. In full disclosure, DG and I do get a referral bonus for everybody that signs up using our referral link. Keep in mind, I don't provide any investing advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. I do not provide financial advice. You got to get that from somebody else. Shane's Ignite program does cost some money. I think it's around $57 a month. If you use our referral link, you'll get the first month free. And I want to be super clear. I am not pushing. I'm not asking for people to go sign up. Simply just providing a reference to another tool that is out there, a tool that I have used and liked a lot. Absolutely acknowledge that this is not going to be for everybody, but some people it might be a real benefit to them. As you guys know, I don't hawk things on my channel here. I've never asked for likes and subscribes. Not my thing. I've mentioned Rakuten here and there. I've always appreciated the folks that have used my referral link in Rakuten to sign up, but I don't make these videos to, make a bunch of money or anything. Hey, a little bit that I get here and there is obviously nice. It feeds my Lego hobby. My wife likes to joke has turned from a hobby to an illness over the last few years, but we have a lot of fun with it. But yeah, I'm not hawking things on this channel. I'm only sharing things that I have used and that I have liked and just making you guys aware of other resources, and totally up to you guys if it's something that you would want to join or not. The last set that got pushed a year is the Darth Vader helmet, and I would argue that this is a very good thing for folks that want to invest in the other helmets. We've heard the rumors that this sub-theme is coming to an end. No new sets have been announced, so it's certainly sounding like those rumors are true. We have 2 really good helmets that are still scheduled to retire at the end of this year. Commander Cody and Princess Leia Boushh. These are hugely popular sets for investing. Commander Cody has 18 mentions with a 2.8 enthusiasm score. Remember, the E score is out of 3.0, so that is fantastic. And then Princess Leia Boushh, 17 mentions with a very solid 2.6 enthusiasm score. I think both of these are going to be great investment sets, and I am excited to pick a bunch of them up when they go on a really good discount. Since this theme is coming to an end, I was worried that without any more sitting on the shelves, then people are going to forget about it, and therefore the buzz is going to die off, and there will be less desire to pick these up on the secondary market. Always got to be looking at supply and demand. But now that we're going to have these 3 sitting through the end of 2025, every time somebody sees these sets sitting on a shelf in a store, it should remind them about the previous ones, and hopefully it will increase increase the demand for these two sets that I expect to perform really well. So now that those 7 sets are off the table, what is my game plan? How am I pivoting? Well, like I said, the 2 helmets I'm going for. I still love the Mos Eisley Cantina. I ended up not getting one during May the 4th promo weekend. I just decided it is too expensive and too large, and I'm just not quite there yet on getting sets that size for investing. I do like Boba Fett's Microfighter, but I want it at half price. Of course, I always think the Brickheads will do well, but let's talk about 75352 Emperor's Throne Room Diorama. It's $100, which is crazy overpriced, so I'm expecting at least a 40% discount, maybe even higher by stacking promos and other deals if the timing is right. As you know, I still like all 3 dioramas that retired last year. The data is not good on them yet. None of them are back up to MSRP. They're going to be a slow burn, it looks like, but I did pick all of mine up for about 40% off, and I'm expecting the same for the 2 that are retiring this year. I just think that the designs on these are exquisite. They've got the exclusive 40th anniversary print, the exclusive Lego Star Wars print, and then of course the exclusive quote print. Some of these quotes are pretty good and some of them are terrible. This set will have a 1-year, 8-month shelf life. Over 7,000 people on Brickset already own this set, so the demand is absolutely there. It's just that price is crazy. Again, I don't have the good data to back this up, but my hunch is that these dioramas are still going to perform pretty well, but only if you get them 40 or more % off. But at 6 mentions and an enthusiasm score of 2, the investing community is not that excited about this one yet. And then let's look at the other one, the Endor Speeder Chase diorama, at only 3 mentions and an E-score of 1.7. That's pretty bad. But same story, $80, 608 pieces. On a huge discount, I'm in and excited about it. And now looking at the second half of our retiring Star Wars table, I do like the Republic E-Wing versus Shin Hati Starfighter. 4 mentions, E-score of 2.3. Low on the mentions, decent E-score. Really good minifigures. The 2 ships are okay. Most of the time, the Star Wars 2-ship packs don't perform as well as a set with just 1 ship that's a little larger, more detail, and better designed. But because this one is related to Ahsoka and has a bunch of good exclusive minifigures, I'm kind of excited about it. But then on the opposite side, the Mandalorian Fang Fighter versus TIE Interceptor, I'm not that excited about it. Mandalorian buzz has cooled off, even though there is more content. I still don't know yet if it's a movie and a final season or just one or the other. But if either or both of those are pretty good, then this one might increase in popularity. So maybe this is a sleeper set. The TIE Interceptor is really good in this box, but the Fang Fighter is just a pancake. Yavin 4 Rebel Base set 75365 has had a lot of noise since it came out, mostly negative because the design is awful. 3 mentions, E-score 1.7, but it has something like 12 minifigures and many of them are exclusive. At a really good price, maybe there's a chance. I picked up a couple at a decent price. I'm so-so on that. The new Phantom Menace Brickheads that just came out and is expected to retire at the end of this year, so we'll have less than a 1-year shelf life. 2 mentions, E-score 3. I expect this one to climb the table rapidly in the coming months. I am very excited about this 6-pack Brickheads. But now let's look at the mechs. Stormtrooper, 2 mentions, E-score 2. Boba Fett's mech, 2 mentions, E-score 1.5. And the Darth Vader mech, 2 mentions, E-score of 1. So very low on our table, but the buzz is increasing on these sets. Let's look at Boba Fett first. I think this will be the best investment of the 3. They all will have under a 1.5-year shelf life. It is a new Star Wars sub-theme. There was a lot of negativity because mechs don't exist in Star Wars. I think maybe that's pushing people away and pushing these under the radar. But because of the minifigures and the builds too, but the minifigures, the concept, the fun, the playability, I think these will perform well than a lot of people are thinking. And like I said, the buzz is starting to increase. My estimation is that these will climb our table here, especially the Boba Fett and Stormtrooper mechs. Here's the Stormtrooper mech, which looks really cool. I can see people wanting to army build with this, make a cavalry unit of Stormtrooper mechs. Some YouTube investors are saying this will be the top performer. I'm not quite there yet because only 2,900 people on Brickset own it, whereas the Boba Fett mech has almost 4,800 people on Brickset owning it. And then lastly is the Darth Vader mech, by far going to be the lowest performer in my opinion, even though 3,200 people own it on Brickset. This one just looks a little thin, and it's hard to wrap your mind around Darth Vader being in a mech. It seems like a little bit of a downgrade since Darth Vader is already so powerful. So this one doesn't work for me, but a Stormtrooper in a mech totally makes sense. And then Boba Fett in a mech, I mean, it really looks like Boba Fett flying around like he does anyways. It just seems like some cool thing that Boba Fett would have in his arsenal. Now it's time to show you some of my recent purchases. So this one right here is when I stayed up on April 30th until midnight. I had my cart ready to go. This was my first purchase, loaded it up, and at 12:02 I was able to make the purchase. It processed through and then my order was placed. I was super excited about it. Here's the confirmation. Got the 3 GWPs. It's all about the Trade Federation troop carrier. Here's how I did on that purchase. My total cost was $170, $31 back in VIP points, $4 back in Rakuten. I'm estimating $65 after shipping and fees on the GWP. Total rewards was $100, which means my equivalent percent off was 59%. So my all-in was about $70 after redeeming all of these benefits. Obviously, I'm very excited about that purchase price. I only got one of the gunship, which I'm glad since it's now not retiring. This one will probably be the copy that I open and build for myself, and then I will pick up more next year. With these savings, my final equivalent price for the gunship was $57 instead of the $140 retail. And then for the Tusken Raiders, it was $4.10 instead of the $10 retail. And then at 12:02 a.m. on May the 1st, I went in to make my second purchase. I wanted to get a couple of the Midi-scale Star Destroyers, and then I hit this like everybody else did. Then I got bounced out into the waiting room, got to play their little game. And then after 20 minutes, I said, the heck with it, I'm going to bed. I was sure that GWP would not sell out right away. And as we saw, it actually hung on a lot longer than people were anticipating. But here's the second purchase I got in: 2 Star Destroyers, 1 Cody brickhead, and 2 more Tusken Raider brickheads. Got all the GWPs. Before I go into the details on this purchase, I got to take a pause for a second because I am recording on Sunday. The Indianapolis 500 is starting in a couple of minutes. The whole race will probably get delayed until Monday, but I want to go check it out and make sure that I don't miss the beginning. So give me a couple of minutes and let me check that out. All right, I'm back. Unfortunately, the rain came right before the race started, so they are under a massive delay. So back to talking Lego. On this purchase, I was $170 in, 17 VIP points, and the same $4 Rakuten and $65 GWP, which means a 51% savings and a final cost of $83.75 for these 5 sets. I'm definitely opening and building one of the Star Destroyers, and I guess I'll just be holding on to the other one for an extra year. My all-in equivalent price for the Star Destroyers is $34 compared to the $70 retail, and for the brickheads is $4.90 compared to the $10 retail. I like to show the proof. The proof is in the pudding, so here's a picture with some of the sets and all 6 of the GWPs that I picked up, so I'm going to show you the other orders in a minute. The 2 Star Destroyers, the smaller GWPs, and then this Chewbacca that I will not show you because I actually did an in-store purchase, and this is for my own personal collection. We've all laughed about this set a lot, but I absolutely want one. I want the new R2-D2 that's a little smaller and scales pretty well with this set, and then I want the C-3PO when it comes out. Those 3 are going to go well together. So now let me answer the question that I've been getting asked a lot, which is related to these GWPs. And the big question is, am I selling now or am I going to hold on to them? And my answer is I'm going to hold on to them probably until October this year. I'll look at Q4 and maybe even January of next year. So I'm not going to hold on to them for a full year. But right now we have to get through the race to the bottom. First few copies that people sold right away on eBay were going for $70 or $80. But once everybody got their orders shipped in, then again, it was the race to the bottom. So now they're going for about $55 to $60 with shipping. I think we can do much better than that. Here's the camel chart. A few really early purchases on Amazon were 103. I don't think we'll get that high, but it is an army builder set. And if we look at the previous Battle Droid troop carrier, which was not a GWP, it's gone from $40 to $165. Yes, it does have more battle droids and an exclusive minifigure. If we look at last year's May the 4th GWP that does not have any minifigures, it's up about $65 to $70 when you add shipping. I think this year's is going to beat this one by a little bit, and so I'm going to be patient. This is the Camel 3X chart for the Death Star 2. We can see that at the beginning it was solid, but then the race to the bottom, and then it started to pick back up, and it picked up for a while. It did slow down through the holidays when a lot of people were going to be selling them, so there was going to be high supply for pretty equivalent demand, but then come January it popped again. So I'm actually thinking I'm going to wait until January before I really consider selling this year's GWP. All right, so that answers that big question I've been asked multiple times. Now let me show you more May the 4th purchases that I made. Here's one where I got 1 E-Wing and Shin Hati Starfighter along with a Phantom Menace brickhead. My total cost was $165, but then 28 in VIP points, and then the Rakuten and GWP brings a percent rewards to 59% and a final cost of $68. So I paid an equivalent of $45 for this 2-pack that I love and $23 for the brickheads. That's pretty good. I'm hoping this one goes on sale at $30 to $35 right at the end of the year. My next purchase was a Ghost with 2 of the Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader brickheads. Ghost was one of the few sets that you could actually get a discount code for, so I paid $130 for that set. My all-in was $170, 11 in VIP points. Adding up all the benefits meant my reward was 55% off, and so my final cost was $90, which worked out to $72 for the Ghost and then $9 for each of the $20 retail brickhead sets. Here's a picture of my ugly mug with some of these sets, showing the proof, bringing the receipts. And then my last online May 4th purchase was 3 Phantom Menace brickheads. Total cost was $165 after all the benefits. Total rewards was 52%, so I paid $80. That works out to equivalent $26 each. And here's my mug with those sets. Here's how I'm hoping to do on each of these purchases, even when factoring in the extra year shelf life. I think the gunship can go for $250 before shipping and fees, the Tusken Raider brickheads for $27, and then the GWP for $75 before shipping and fees. That's a gross resale price of $406. I'm going to assume 30% to cover shipping, fees, and taxes. I know everybody's situation is a little different. I think this number is a little high, which I did on purpose because I'd rather show a little less on total profit than a little high. That way, when we actually do it, if we do a little better than what I'm showing in these tables, then we're all super excited. So then the net resale price would be $284. My buy-in price was $177. My profit is $107. That is a 61% return on investment. And I didn't include the $31 of VIP points that I got in this purchase when I did this calculation. So I know I'm kind of calculating these from a couple of different angles, from when I bought them and from when I hopefully sell them. I've checked all the math. It's good to go. So this would be a 61% return on investment and an extra $31 on top. My comparable is the most recent Playscale Republic gunship. I know this one's a little bigger, a few more pieces, a few more minifigures, but it's gone from $120 to $430. And here is the Camel 3X chart on it. This is what we want to see. I think we can do the same with the Coruscant Guard gunship, but not as steep of a climb. Before shipping and fees, I think we'll be able to sell the Ghost and Phantom 2 for $340 and the Brickheads 2-pack for $54, $75 again for the GWP. Gross resale price of $523, 30% shipping, fees, and taxes equals $157. So the net resale price is $366. My buy-in price was $177, so that's $189 of profit, 107%, and that does not include the $11 of VIP points. My justification is the only other Ghost set we have retired in 2015, so not a crazy long time ago, right around 10 years, and it's jumped from $90 to $550. The new set is larger, looks better, has more detail, and has an extra minifigure, and it has the small Phantom 2 ship that connects with it. It's a really fantastic set. And then the $54 before shipping and fees for the brickheads is pretty standard for Star Wars brickheads. For the Phantom Menace brickheads, I am targeting a resale price of $110 before shipping and fees. That means this purchase will have a gross resale of $405, 30% shipping, fees, and taxes means that a net resale price of $284. The buy-in was $172, so that's 65% return on investment before we add in the $17 of VIP points. Pretty good for a multi-pack brickhead set. Here's our only comparable, last year's Battle of Endor Heroes, that also had a very short shelf life and went on sale for, I think it was $25, originally retailed at $40. After shipping and fees, it's about $42. So if you bought it for $25, then you're doing really well. This says I have 19 of them. I think that's right, but I don't keep my brick set metrics up very well. I keep it all on a spreadsheet, and most of those I got at about the $25 price. Here's the Camel 3X chart on last year's Battle of Endor Heroes, and this is what we want to see. Nice little climb on the secondary market, and it's only been 5 months since it officially retired, and it's actually only been 3 months since it was completely out of stock. A little bit of zombie stock hung around on lego.com until about March, so I find this promising so far. This was my second to last May 4th purchase, and I think we'll be able to sell each of the Midi Superstar Destroyers for $150. We don't have any good recent comparables, but there are 2 much older Star Wars Midi ships that have done really well. So this is kind of a guess, but I think $150 is reasonable. $27 again for the brickheads means that it is a gross of $456 after subtracting the 30%. The net resale price is $319. Comparing cost and profit, that comes out to an 80% return on investment, and then another $17 in VIP points on top. And then lastly, I'm targeting reselling the Republic E-Wing and Shin Hati Starfighter for $200, and that is before shipping and fees, so not great return on investment since the retail price on this set is $110. The same $110 for the Phantom Menace, the same $75 resale price for the GWP before shipping and fees, which means a net resale price of $270. Comparing total cost to profit is only a 57% return on investment, but because the E-Wing Shin Hati 2-pack was 4x VIP points, there's another $28 on top that makes this end up being a pretty good deal. And lastly, I want to wrap up with some awesome Walmart clearance deals that I picked up. Walmart had a bunch of Lego sets on clearance over a couple of month period recently, and it's just a bunch of random sets that I would normally normally not invest too much in unless they were on a great discount. The first one is Kohl's Earth Dragon Evo. I bought it for $13. The retail price is $35. If I can sell it for retail, then I get an 88% return on investment. 71457 Pegasus Flying Horse. This one I actually like a lot, so I'm really excited to get this for $19 when it retailed for $50. I think Dreams is flying under the radar a little bit. I've been saying that for a while. I've also been saying that you got to get these on a huge discount, so I was able to get some. I think I can resell it for $60 before shipping fees. When you factor in the 30%, then it's a net of $42, and that yields 121% return on investment. 71425 Diddy Kong's Minecart Ride. I got 2 of them. My son already has one and built it. It's an awesome set. They were $66, which isn't great. I would have liked to have been less, honestly, for, doing a really good investment. But my kids really like these Mario play sets, and since it's a train, you can build them and add more. So maybe we'll build them, or maybe I'll resell them. But at that price, I felt like they're just good to have and, hold on to them for the next 6 or so months and then decide what I want to do. So at $66 each, my total buy-in price was $132 for this purchase. Maybe I'll be able to sell them for just over MSRP before shipping and fees. When you factor all that in, it's a $36 profit and only a 27% return on investment. 71459 Stable of Dream Creatures. I got 2 of this set at $35. It's a beautiful set, and it has a bunch of great colorful foliage pieces. I actually think this one can do decent. After expenses, I'm hoping my total net resale price is $140. That's a $76 profit and 119% return on investment. Here's my poofy hair with a bunch more Walmart clearance sets that I got. Let's look at the Main Street 31141. I've picked up 4 of these recently at $56 each. The retail price is $140, so obviously that's a massive discount. My total buy-in is $560. I'm thinking someday I'll be able to resell each of them at $120 before shipping and fees. Doing all the math, that works out to a total profit of $112 and a 50% return on investment. Obviously not great, but at that huge discount, I had to pick them up. I did get 2 of the Yavin 4 Rebel base at $102. It retails at $170, so I'm not thrilled about that price, but it's decent. I definitely want to build one myself because of all the minifigures, even though I don't like the build at all. I think after possibly a pretty long hold time, I'll be able to sell it for $200. That works out to a total net resale price on both boxes of $280, just a $76 profit at 37% return on investment. 75358 Tenu Jedi Temple. I got 3 of them. Some people were picking this set up for $5, $8, and $10. The best I could find was $18 each. Honestly, I'm not that excited about it, but I think that I can resell them for the MSRP, and that will yield a total $31 profit and a 58% return on investment. I saw a few different Friends sets sitting on the shelves. This was the only one I picked up because it was such a great discount, $50, but I got it for $19. If I resell it for $45, that's a $13 profit and a 66% return on investment. I've got 2 more sets for you. I picked up 3 of these large John Deere Technic sets, and I got them for $148 each. They retail at $200, so not a great discount, honestly, but there's a lot of buzz around the smaller John Deere set, and I think that the larger one will be popular after a longer hold time. I actually have this set in my power rankings video. Obviously, with the news of the 7 Star Wars sets that are not retiring at the end of this year, I will be doing a new power rankings video soon. I think I'll be able to resell each of these at $350 after all the expenses. That works out to a $97 profit for each of them, and that is a 66% return on investment. I'm still happy with that, but the reason I wanted to get these is because of the buzz around the John Deere sets. We've never had any John Deere sets before. We only have 3 total. 2 are expected to retire at the end of this year. The next one will retire at the end of next year. There might be another 1 or 2 sets, but this is the first large Technic John Deere set. So it's possible this one really pops on the secondary market. And if it does, I don't want to miss out. So I'm excited to have these. And maybe this ROI turns into 100 or 125%. And then lastly, I picked up my first ever Duplo sets. I got them from the Disney store online. I picked them up because they were on a huge discount. Instead of $100, they were $42. I picked up 3. I think I can resell them for $175. That works out to an $81 profit for each, or $242 profit on my total purchase. And that is a 192% return on investment. I have my fingers crossed because I am really excited about my pickup on this one. All right, so that is it for this video. But before we close out, I want to give one programming note. I know I haven't done an updated mentions and enthusiasm score table for April, and I haven't done a not top sets table video in a long time, but all all of the May 4th stuff took up a bunch of time, and then I was out of town for a little while and then got busy at work. And so I just wanted to keep up for a little while. I'm at least getting some videos out. But now come early June, I'm going to do new videos on mentions and enthusiasm score for all of April and May. So those will be coming soon. We get to look forward to those. But thanks a lot for watching this one. That's a wrap, and I will see you in the next one.